Mexico opens up the World Cup with a 2-0 win over South Africa, though, as you can see, that's not the entire story of the match. The scoring opens in the 9th minute by Julian Quinones. Erica Lira pounces on a lazy pass by South Africa to get the ball in the 18 and passes it over to Quinones, who would slot it home easily. The rest of the first half would be relatively quiet, as we would make it to half with just Teboho Mokena and Brian Gutierrez picking up very professional yellow cards for stopping promising attacks, one for each side. The quiet, however, would not last, as in the 50th minute, Sefeflo Sitole would pick up a dog-so-red card that left the trailing South African team down a man and scrambling to survive in hopes of moving on. They would bunker down and put up a good defense right until the 67th minute, where a Mexican cross finds the waiting Raul Jimenez in the box as he heads it home, opening up his World Cup checkbook and giving him his first goal of the tournament. At this point, we are in damage control mode for South Africa, as any more goals would effectively end their World Cup hopes right then and there. Nkosazana Sabisi would pick up a yellow card, making the task harder right before Edson Alvarez would come on for his 100th appearance for Mexico. Another big substitution that happened in the 66th minute was that of Gilberto Mora, who comes on at just 17 years of age. He will be the youngest player to participate in this World Cup, and he is the 6th youngest of all time. Things would go from horrific to disastrous for South Africa, however, in the 84th minute, as Themba Zwane gets sent off as he catches Roberto Alvarado in the ear as he tries to essentially swim around him and get clear into the box for a possible goal. It was not initially called on the field. It goes to VAR, but violent conduct is the final call, and he gets sent off, leaving South Africa fighting with just 9 men left on the field. They would put up enough of a defense that when it came time for extra time in stoppage time, they would have one chance to get downfield, and Cesar Montes would step in front of the South African player and trip him up as he's going for the ball in what would be given as a very controversial dog-so-red. Personally, I feel like there's a question of if there was another defender that could answer the call, and maybe that would have been enough for it to just be a yellow. However, on the broadcast, they did mention that this ref is extremely strict, and you have to know that coming in before you make a tackle. 2-0 would be the final score, as Mexico can celebrate a successful opening day. However, it was not as perfect as they would want it to be, as the loss of Montes keeps it from being that upper echelon of perfect opens. South Africa will have to regroup in an extremely strong way if they want to fight for a third-place spot in the group. However, that may be out of reach with 2 players being on reds.